just finished up another day as a small business person with a retirement gig. I'm a handmade products maker. So let's take a look at how the day went. Don't forget to stay tuned at the end. You'll see what I made. Getting ready for the fifth straight day of cruise ships. Before I start my workday today, I'm going to walk down the waterfront to go get something to eat. I love walking past this art gallery and taking a peek inside. I'm going to work on some t-shirts. First I turn on the heat press and I have to let it heat up. And this is one of my bleach tie-dye shirts that I am going to print a design on, a sublimation print. So the first thing I do is lint roll. And I have to lint roll, even though this isn't a white t-shirt, and it wouldn't show up as much. If I don't lint roll, the sublimation can end up leaving little dots of color from the lint. And lint, you can't really see the lint with your naked eye so much. But you do a white shirt and sublimate and don't lint roll, and you're like, what is that little blue speck on there that's messing up your shirt? So, even though my design's not going to be all down here, just for good measure, I go ahead and lint roll. But I've got to come back because after the heat press heats up, then I'm going to press it for probably about, I usually do at least 10 or 15 seconds, because what it does is it takes the moisture that's in the fabric out. But right now, it's still only at 159, so it's not near where it needs to be, so I will be back. The shirt I'm going to be doing, like I said, this is a bleach tie-dye shirt. So I use traditional tie-dye pattern or traditional tie-dye techniques, and I'm actually removing color from here. So these are my unique bleach tie-dye shirts. I have 3 different color families that I do. So I'm going to be putting a design on it, and that's why I'm waiting for the heat press to come up to temperature, 400 degrees for 60 seconds, and it'll be ready to go. But first, like I said, I have to, going to pre-press it. It takes out the wrinkles because I don't want to have wrinkles on a smooth surface when I'm doing the t-shirt, pressing the design on. So it takes out the wrinkles, and it also takes out whatever moisture there is in the fabric from just the humidity in the air. I have to take some butcher paper, enough to cover the entire area, and I put this butcher paper on top of the t-shirt. It's not up to the 400 degrees, but I'm going to go ahead and pre-press the shirt. I'm not using my gloves yet because I'm not actually near the heating element, but these are my gloves that I'll be putting on. Actually, you know something, let me just go ahead and put them on just for safety, because even though I'm not anywhere near, this is the heating part, and I'm just working up here, I'll go ahead and put them on. Oh, I had some other things that I did before that needed heavier pressures, so I am going to loosen the pressure on this. This is one that has a knob. Yeah, so I can tell. You just sort of have to get a feel for your heat press. I don't have one of the fancy ones. Now I'm just gonna let this sit for a few seconds, and then I have to let it cool before I put my design on. So that should be good enough. I don't turn the timer on for this part. This is one of what they call a swing away. So I swing away, put that part in the back. This has not been used yet to have a design on, so I just fold it in half and put it on the side until I'm ready. But I have to take the gloves off because I can't work with the design. What I have to do is pull this so that the collar isn't hanging back over. Make sure everything is smooth, because I don't want to press wrinkles into there. And then I have to take this is a special ruler that's for centering designs on shirts, t-shirts, and things like that. It's not based on where the actual tag is, because they may have sewn the tag on off center, but I usually check to make sure that on either side. Now I know that people may complain and say, well, you don't have to do that, it's taking extra time, but I actually like to do this. I don't know, I like my stuff to be right. I measure, this is just a little tape measure, and I use the centimeter side because that's smaller units. So this actually needs to come over some more. That beep, beep, beeping is letting me know it's reached temperature. So I'm coming here and measuring. There are other ways you can do this. One of the ways is to fold the shirt in half, and then you would take and press in a line, but I don't like to do that. So this is just my way. Now I have to get my design. And this one is a local saying, love alone, and St. Thomas USVI. So I've already cut this out. I printed this on a sublimation printer, and then I tear the edges around here. And so this, I will fold it in half and just do a little pinch at the top, so that when I'm centering this, when I'm putting this on here, it should be centered. And then I get my heat tape, and I take some of the heat tape and put it on here to hold this down, put some on the top, some on the bottom, and I put on the sides. And this just holds it down so that I don't get what's called ghosting, which is just like a faint image of your design, like almost like a double image. So I don't want that. So I tape down, and I just use the smallest piece of tape I can. Then I'm finished with this, so I put that on the side. And now I will put on my gloves because I am coming close to the heating part, and I do not want to get burned. You have to use safety first when you're doing anything with crafting, especially if it has to do with heat. So in this case, I'm having to pull this collar up here and push it over the edge so that I don't get uneven pressure. And so since I'm so close here to the heating portion, I make sure I have on my heat resistant gloves. One of the types of t-shirts that I do are these bleach tie-dye, where I just put a saying on it. And then the other type I do is where I have a white polyester t-shirt. So that was the beeping to let me know. It's going to keep beeping unless I push this, tell it to turn it off. So the beeping lets me know it's finished. So I just pull this lever and swing away again. Now I don't have on my gloves because I wasn't going to be anywhere near the heating part. So I take the butcher paper off. You can see a faint image of the design on the butcher paper. I discard that, and then I take this little gadget here and lift off the design. And I'm going to show you the design in a moment, but I just lift that off. And what I do is I just give it another little pass through with my handy dandy lint roller. And now let us show the design. And this is the design. It's all printed on here now. Oops. So this is my Love Alone t-shirt. It's a local saying here in the VI, probably all throughout the Caribbean. Love Alone. St. Thomas VI, St. Thomas USVI. So that's my Love Alone shirt. Next shirt I'm going to do will have one of my paintings printed on it. So I'll just put that to the side for a moment because the first thing I have to do is I have to pre-press again. So I open the plastic, take the t-shirt out. Again, these are polyester t-shirts. 100% polyester. So I put this down, and because I use this already, I don't know if you can see, there's like faint little dark spots on here. So I will take off this part that was used. See here, and then it's just a perforation, and then I just pull that. Discard that piece. And then I start lint rolling away again. I have just learned from experience to lint roll until I think I need to lint roll more, and then I lint roll some more. And I lint roll even in the areas where my design isn't even going, but I just like to make sure I don't have any problem. So again, this is me just lint rolling the t-shirt, so that I don't end up with any little speckles, dark blue speckles. And I'm very careful, since I don't have on my gloves, I'm very careful not to go near the edge there that's hot, because I do not want to get burned. That would not be good. So even here on the edge of the t-shirt, I do a little bit of lint rolling. I make sure the area where the design is going to go, that I have that smooth. And then I'm going to get another piece of butcher paper. I'm across the room here, but so this is my roll. This is my roll of butcher paper. So that's what you'll hear me tearing. So I put the butcher paper over here, make sure that it's enough to cover the whole t-shirt. Swing this back around. Close it, and I will put it on just so I'll know, like I said, maybe 10 seconds or so. So it starts 60 and then it's counting down. So when it gets to, actually I do about 15 seconds because it's high humidity here in the Virgin Islands. Maybe where you are, it might be drier, so you don't have to do it as long. But here, that's like 20 seconds. So open this back up, swing it back away. And then, as I said, I fold this. I always fold this paper that I use because I'm going to use it over the t-shirt again once I put the design on. And I always just fold it so that I know which side goes against the t-shirt, so that if there's any dust maybe on the outside, it won't go on the t-shirt that I just lint rolled. Maybe it seemed like something extra to do, but it's what I do. So I'm just gently pulling the t-shirt. There's some lint there. I don't know where that came from, but there's always lint. There's always lint. I even sometimes lint roll again. But I actually could see that. There was two little dark spots of lint. Not lint, but dust. So what I do is I take let me show you. So this is a design that's going to go on the t-shirt. And what I do is I take the edge. So I've already torn this. This was a larger sheet. I print these on 11 by 17. And I tear the edges because you end up with less of a chance of getting a hard line, where if this was just the regular edge, you might get a hard line on your t-shirt. So I take the two edges here. It's hard to see, because it's not enough light to see, but the edges here, you see the two edges, oops, sorry. The two edges are going against each other. And then I'm just coming up here and pinching it a little so that I will know where to put it when I center the t-shirt. I take and check on this side, and I want to make sure that it's equal amount from the end of the ruler to the sleeve, or close enough to an equal amount. So I just have to nudge this up a little bit. There are easier ways to do it. I know, but that's just the way I do it. I just feel more comfortable. And just since I can see that there was some lint that came from wherever it came from, I'm just gonna lint roll this little area one more time. And I'm taking the t-shirt, I'm taking the print. And this is printed mirror image, so if it's going on a t-shirt, it has to be mirror image. There are some times when sublimation print is not mirror image, but if you're putting it on a t-shirt, it has to be mirror image. So I'm lining this up here. This is the center line, and my little notch there, that's the center line of that. And I'm actually going to just slide this down some because I forgot to slide the ruler down. You sort of leave the equivalent of 3 fingers of space between the edge of the collar and where you're putting your design. So this is again just the heat resistant tape. It's my little tape dispenser. I have found tape dispenser to be so valuable for me doing this. It is such a time saver. I was trying when I first started, I actually have 2 different ones now. This is for the wide tape, and then this is for the narrow tape. So for the t-shirts, I only need the narrow tape. But without this tape dispenser, ooh, that's a lot of work trying to always find the end. But yeah, if you don't have a tape dispenser, you always have to be fiddling with the ends. Just moving the t-shirt up so that the edge of the collar is off the edge of where the heat press is going to press down on, because I don't want to have uneven pressure. So now we are ready to press. I have to make sure, since my heat press is, I think it's a 15 by 15, I have to make sure that the design is within where the pad is. There's a pad underneath here. See if I can show you the pad. There's a pad underneath there, so I have to make sure the design is not going over the edge of the pad. I always put the butcher paper back over, and since I'm going to want to tuck the edge of the butcher paper down under here, I will put my gloves on, just so, since I'm getting a little close to there. Swing this back across, pull down the handle, press the timer, and let it do its thing. This white t-shirt is what I do all of the ones that I have. Some graphic designs I put on, but in this case, since I'm an artist, a painter, a fine artist, I actually print my designs on there. These don't say St. Thomas. These are just ones that are an artistic, way to wear something fashionable. And also make sure if you're doing sublimation that you're in a ventilated area. So I'm just pulling this back. Remove the butcher paper or discard it. You can't reuse that because it has a faint image of the design. And then I just pull away. So this is what the paper looked like. Remember before it was very bright, but now the image is on the t-shirt. I just come and take the edges. I'm trying to lessen what shows on the edge from the little jagged, torn edges. Here's the t-shirt with my painting on it. People love these t-shirts. I love them too. I'm tired, and so I'm only doing those 2 t-shirts for now. Turn that off. Swing this back around. And we're done with the heat press. Again, here's the result. T-shirt, this one is an extra large. So an extra large t-shirt with one of my beach paintings. That one is Vesa Bay.